Imagine a bright flash in the sky, brighter than the sun, tearing across the atmosphere at 45,000 miles per hour. The ground quakes, birds scatter, and within moments, a roaring fireball strikes the earth, obliterating everything in its path. This isn't science fiction. This is what would happen if the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs slammed into our planet today. A rock 10 kilometers wide, traveling faster than a speeding bullet, carrying unimaginable energy. And our civilization would be on the front line. Let's dive into what our modern world would look like if history repeated itself, and explore the terrifying, awe-inspiring consequences of a collision like this. The asteroid that ended the reign of dinosaurs 66 million years ago created what is now the Chicxulub crater in Mexico. Imagine a crater over 150 kilometers wide, gouged into the earth with the power of billions of atomic bombs exploding at once. If a similar object hit our planet today, the location of impact would determine much of the immediate devastation. Let's picture it striking in the Gulf of Mexico, near the heart of North America. Cities like Houston, New Orleans, and Mexico City would be vaporized instantly. The energy released would be equivalent to over 10 billion Hiroshima-sized bombs detonating simultaneously. Entire states would disappear from maps in the blink of an eye, as a massive shockwave radiates outward, flattening everything within hundreds of miles. Skyscrapers would crumble like sandcastles, bridges would snap like twigs, and highways would melt under the heat of a sudden, unimaginable firestorm. The immediate blast wouldn't be the only danger. The asteroid would throw millions of tons of molten rock and debris into the atmosphere, igniting wildfires across continents. The sky would glow red and orange, the air thick with smoke, ash, and toxic gases. This is what scientists call the impact winter scenario. Sunlight would be blocked for months, possibly years, plunging the earth into darkness. Crops would fail, temperatures would drop dramatically, and ecosystems would collapse. Humans, like the dinosaurs before us, would be left to face starvation and chaos on a global scale. Let's not forget the tsunamis. An asteroid hitting the ocean would displace billions of tons of water, generating waves hundreds of meters high. Coastal cities from New York to Shanghai would be swept away in a matter of minutes. Ports, harbors, and low-lying areas would vanish beneath the surging oceans. Millions of people would be caught in the first wave, unable to escape. Even inland regions wouldn't be safe from flooding caused by rivers overwhelmed by displaced water. Imagine standing on a coastline, seeing a mountain of water as tall as a skyscraper racing toward you. There would be no time for panic, no time for escape, only awe and terror. But what about the long-term effects? The dust and soot in the atmosphere would act like a giant mirror, reflecting sunlight back into space. Global temperatures would drop dramatically. Estimates suggest a fall of up to 20 degrees Celsius in some regions. Agricultural collapse would be inevitable. Without sunlight, photosynthesis stops. Crops fail. Famine spreads. Livestock dies. Modern supply chains, already fragile, would collapse within weeks. The very food that keeps billions alive would disappear, and it's not just the cold. The heat from wildfires combined with acidic rain would poison rivers, lakes, and soil. Drinking water becomes scarce, contamination rampant, and survival turns into a desperate struggle. Now let's talk about the skies. Meteors smaller than the main asteroid, heated to thousands of degrees, would rain down on the earth like fiery hailstones. Buildings would ignite, forests would burn, and lightning storms would become catastrophic, triggered by the massive release of energy and dust in the atmosphere. The night sky, once a canvas for stars, would turn into a hellish display of fire and ash. Imagine looking out from your window and seeing the horizon glowing red, the air trembling with explosions, while massive fireballs streak across the sky. Cities would not be recognizable. Iconic skylines like New York, Tokyo, or Paris would be reduced to rubble, as if swept away by the hand of an angry god. One of the most terrifying possibilities is the collapse of our infrastructure. Electrical grids would fail. Satellites, unprotected from the electromagnetic pulses generated by the impact and subsequent storms, might be destroyed. Communication networks, internet connections, and satellites providing GPS and weather data would cease to function. In modern society, where nearly everything depends on electricity, the sudden loss of power would create panic and confusion. Hospitals unable to operate, emergency services overwhelmed, and governments struggling to coordinate relief would compound the disaster. Chaos would reign. Air travel would be impossible. The debris cloud would persist in the stratosphere, making skies opaque for weeks. Planes could not navigate, fuel production and distribution would falter, and mass evacuations would be nearly impossible. Ground transportation would be equally disrupted. Roads blocked by debris, fuel shortages, and overwhelmed emergency services would make movement dangerous and slow. Humanity, accustomed to instant global mobility, would suddenly find itself trapped on a planet turned hostile and unpredictable. Let's explore another dimension: the psychological impact. Imagine witnessing the immediate death of millions around you, the collapse of governments, the obliteration of cities, and the onset of a seemingly endless night. Humanity has never experienced anything close to this scale of disaster. Mental health crises would be catastrophic. People's instincts for survival would clash with societal norms, leading to panic, riots, and desperate acts of self-preservation. Trust in institutions, already fragile, would evaporate as resources dwindle. The modern world, built on interdependence and technology, would face not just physical destruction but social fragmentation on a massive scale. But what about science and technology? Could humanity fight back? Early warning systems exist today. NASA and other space agencies constantly monitor near-Earth objects, tracking asteroids that could threaten our planet. However, detecting the object is only the first step. Deflecting or destroying a kilometer-wide asteroid is far from trivial. Concepts like nuclear detonation or kinetic impactors could alter its course, but timing is critical. If the asteroid is detected too late, there's nothing we can do. The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs hit with little warning, and even with today's technology, our response window would be dangerously short. The thought is chilling. Despite all our satellites, all our technology, a rock from space could still endanger civilization with almost no warning. And the consequences wouldn't stop at Earth's surface. The impact could trigger massive volcanic eruptions in sensitive regions, earthquakes far from the initial site, and destabilization of the climate for decades. The combination of global firestorms, impact winter, and tectonic upheaval would create a perfect storm of environmental catastrophe. Oceans would acidify, forests would die, and the delicate balance of ecosystems would be shattered. Many species would face extinction, not unlike the fate of dinosaurs 66 million years ago. Humanity could survive, but life as we know it would be fundamentally altered. Cities might be rebuilt, but landscapes, climates, and ecosystems could take centuries or millennia to recover. Let us take a step back and imagine a twist. The asteroid doesn't hit a populated region. Instead, it lands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. You might think that's better. But the consequences are still devastating. Massive tsunamis would hit coastlines across the globe. Waves hundreds of meters high would sweep through coastal megacities like Los Angeles, Tokyo, Jakarta, and Sydney. Entire nations could be swallowed by the ocean. Even inland regions would feel the impact through earthquakes, climate disruption, and global famine. No corner of Earth would remain untouched. The ripple effect is global, a reminder that in the face of such cosmic forces, location matters but survival is uncertain everywhere. Now, let's consider the human response. Emergency plans exist, but they are designed for earthquakes, hurricanes, or even nuclear war, not a global asteroid impact. Governments might attempt mass evacuations, but logistics would fail under the sudden collapse of infrastructure. International aid would be delayed, resources scarce, and communication nearly impossible. Imagine refugee crises on a scale never seen before. Millions of people on the move, desperation driving decisions, and the thin veneer of civilization stretched to breaking point. History has shown that humans are resilient, inventive, and cooperative, but facing a planetary-scale catastrophe? That's a challenge humanity has never encountered. And here's another twist. Not all hope is lost. Scientists speculate that underground cities, bunkers, and remote shelters could allow portions of humanity to survive. Stored food, water, and energy supplies could sustain small populations until the climate stabilizes. Humanity might emerge smaller in number, but still capable of rebuilding civilization. Think of it like pressing the reset button on the modern world. Technology would be lost, global connectivity destroyed, but fundamental human ingenuity could survive. In this sense, the asteroid isn't just a destroyer, it's a harsh teacher, reminding us of our vulnerability and the fragility of our existence on a tiny blue planet hurtling through space. The event would also offer scientists an unprecedented opportunity to study planetary impacts in real time. Satellites observing the aftermath could provide invaluable data on climate, geology, and atmospheric physics. Humanity's understanding of catastrophic events would grow exponentially but at an unimaginable cost. And beyond the science, there would be lessons in humility, cooperation, and survival. Our ancestors survived mass extinctions, could we? It would depend not just on technology, but on foresight, preparation, and the ability to act collectively in the face of overwhelming odds. So what can we do to prevent this from ever happening? Planetary defense programs are ramping up. Space agencies are developing spacecraft capable of nudging dangerous asteroids off course. Early detection systems are improving, monitoring tens of thousands of near-Earth objects. International collaboration is key because an asteroid doesn't care about borders. Humanity has the knowledge and tools to reduce the risk, but it requires investment, coordination, and vigilance. We are no longer powerless against cosmic threats, but the margin for error is small. And finally, let's reflect on the scale of what we're discussing. A single rock from space, no larger than a city, could reshape the planet, collapse civilizations, and alter the course of life as we know it. It's humbling, it's terrifying, and it's a reminder that Earth, our home, exists in a delicate balance, surrounded by forces beyond our control. Understanding these risks isn't about fear, it's about respect for the universe and our place within it. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember, among those countless stars and points of light, there are travelers from the void, silent, unstoppable, and sometimes deadly. And while we cannot stop the universe from existing, we can prepare, watch, and protect our fragile blue world from repeating the cataclysm that ended the age of dinosaurs. The difference now? We have the knowledge. We have the technology, but we must act wisely. Because if that asteroid came today, there would be no rerun, no second chance, and survival would depend on our ability to face one of nature's most extreme tests. If this video made you think about the fragility of life on Earth and the power of cosmic events, smash that like button, leave a comment with your thoughts. Would humanity survive? Don't forget to subscribe to Cosmic Horizon Hub for more deep dives into the mysteries, dangers, and wonders of the universe. Together, we'll explore the cosmos, one mind-blowing scenario at a time.